If you've never gotten a tattoo and you're not entirely sure why, this might explain something about you that you've never been able to put into words. Not because you couldn't, not because you hated tattoos, and not because you feared pain, but every time you seriously considered getting one, something inside you quietly said, "Not yet." Because for some people, tattoos don't just feel permanent physically, they feel permanent emotionally. And when life has already shown you how quickly a person can change, permanence starts to feel heavier than most people realize. Some people learn this early. A friendship they were certain would last, suddenly gone. A version of themselves they once loved, now unrecognizable. A dream they fully believed in, slowly losing meaning. And after enough of that kind of change, the mind becomes careful. Not fearful, careful. Psychologists call this a fluid identity. You experience yourself as constantly evolving. Not fixed, not finished. To you, identity doesn't feel like a solid object. It feels like water, always moving, always reshaping around new experiences. And a tattoo can feel like freezing one emotional moment forever. A sentence written by a younger version of you for a future self you haven't even met yet. Because deep down, you remember how many times you've already changed. The music you outgrew, the people you no longer speak to, the opinions you once defended like facts, the old photos that barely feel like you anymore. And that memory creates hesitation. People who never get tattoos are not less expressive. Sometimes they're more emotionally aware than everyone around them. They just express themselves differently. Privately, internally, quietly. Because behind this psychology is something deeper. Emotional self-protection. These are often the same people who rewrite a message before sending, hesitate before posting something personal, or feel uncomfortable after sharing too much. Not because they're closed off, because visibility itself can feel emotionally unsafe. And tattoos are visibility made permanent. There's also a contradiction living inside them. Part of them loves self-expression, but another part fears becoming trapped by an older version of themselves. Because what feels meaningful today might feel emotionally distant 10 years from now. The moment they imagine a tattoo, their brain jumps ahead. What if I change? What if this meaning disappears? What if this version of me doesn't survive life? That isn't insecurity, it's psychological future scanning. And beneath all of this, there's often something painful underneath. Because once life teaches you that people disappear, that certainty collapses, that emotions shift without warning, your brain stops fully trusting permanence. Not logically, emotionally. Maybe that's why people who never get tattoos are so often misunderstood. Others assume they're serious, closed off, afraid of commitment, but many of them are simply protecting something invisible. Their freedom to evolve. Their right to wake up one day as someone completely different, without carrying permanent evidence of every version they've already survived. Because while some people find comfort in making their identity permanent, others feel safer leaving parts of themselves unwritten. Not empty, not incomplete, just open. Open to becoming someone entirely new. And maybe that's not fear at all. Maybe that's just a quiet, deep trust in how much they're still going to grow.